Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Jessie from NTU Chinese Medicine Clinic in NTU, and today I will share with you about how to stay healthy with some basic recipes using concepts from TCM. So before we begin, I believe many of you have taken some form of TCM herbs in your life. So I'll just have to find out, how do you usually include TCM in your diet, in your daily lives? So some of you could be taking medications for your overall well-being or for chronic diseases. So you can take it in powder form, herb form, pill form. And maybe some of you take it as a tea beverage in your daily lives, or you probably add it into your soups to make herbal soups to share with your family. Okay, so how do you usually add this into your diet? You can just respond in the Facebook poll. You can just click it. So the way TCM understands food is a bit different from Western science. Western science see it as vitamins, minerals, fiber and such. But in TCM, it's more of the properties of the food and which organ it goes to. So if maybe your spleen is weak, you will eat some food or herbs that helps with strengthening your stomach, your digestive system, or kidney, lung, or heart. Oh, okay. So seems like majority of you take it in your soup, and that's a great way to enhance your overall well-being. But before we start on the recipes today, let's learn some basics of TCM so that we can choose the right herbs that suit our body constitution. So I'll share some basics of TCM and some of the commonly used herbs, and then some recipes. Okay, there will also be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments box on Facebook during the talk. Okay, so let's begin. I believe most of the audience today are senior citizens. So let's first learn about the TCM perspective of aging. Okay, so this is an excerpt from the Emperor's Canon of Internal Medicine, 黄帝内经. So this paragraph talks about how we age, and it's in multiples of 7. You see 七、二七、三七, and for males it would be in multiples of 8. Okay, so we see here this 二七 means 2 times 7. Is when puberty will begin, period will begin, and then you will continue to grow and mature until about 五七, which is 5 times 7, about 35 years old. You will start to show primary age of aging on your face or some hair loss. And then the next 7 years, you grow wrinkles, you have graying hair. And finally, at 七七, which is about 49, for males about 64, you'll be in a general state of deficiency. So you imagine a machine that has been working non-stop for almost 50 years. So the function will not be as robust as before. If you want to think of it in modern science, it will be like cellular aging. So our overall function may be lowered as compared to a youngster. We have less vitality by the time we reach this age. But one unique part about TCM is that we view each person differently. So even though everyone in this age group may be in a general state of deficiency, they will still present as different syndrome types. And what are these syndrome types? Okay, TCM syndromes, they reflect a person's body type at a certain point in time, and these syndromes are affected by your constitution that you are born with, your diet, your environment, and your emotions and other factors. So a physician would use these 4 diagnostic tools. Sight, he'll look at you, how energetic you are, your complexion, your tongue, and hear, smell, hear the sound of your voice. Is it very breathless? Is it very weak? Or is it very angry, very loud? Okay, and touch. So other than the pulse diagnosis that is unique to TCM, they also touch various body parts that may have issues. For example, water retention, if you'll check to see what kind of water retention it is. And the most important tool, asking you about your medical history. So through using these diagnostic tools and finding out more about you, they'll you'll display a pattern of symptoms, and these patterns will help a TCM physician discern what kind of TCM syndrome you are and treat you accordingly. So today we will be our own physicians. I will share some basic TCM syndrome types, and then you can try to recognize which one applies most to you. Okay, so TCM focuses a lot on harmony and balance. So when there's a tilt in the balance, diseases will emerge, and then you will have various sets of symptoms. So we can generalize the TCM syndrome into deficient and excess states. So when there's not enough of something, or when there's too much of something, the balance will be tilted, right? So there's Qi deficient, blood deficient, or yin yang deficient. And in excess states is when there's a poor circulation of the qi or the blood, you get stagnation. Okay, so the symptoms that I'm going to share are just general symptoms that are commonly associated with the syndrome types, but they are not conclusive. You just try to find the set of symptoms that apply the most to you. Okay, so firstly, we have Qi deficient. Qi and blood, they are vital sources of energy that support the normal functioning of our organs, of our bodies. So when there's a dip in the Qi or the blood levels, our energy levels will also be lowered. So in Qi deficient syndrome, you'll present as tiredness. No matter how much you sleep, you're still tired maybe, or you have very bad sleep, shortness of breath, lack of energy, dizziness, spontaneous sweating. This refers to, for example, once you move a bit, just slight physical activity, you will sweat a lot more than other people. So that's spontaneous sweating, and your complexion will tend to be more pale or more like pale yellow, more sickly. Okay. Then for blood deficient, blood in TCM is different from what you understand in Western science. So it's not like the blood report, the white blood cell, red blood cell reports that you see. Those are a subset of how we understand blood in TCM. Blood in TCM encompasses more functions, and it helps to nourish your mind, okay, replenish your energy also. So when you're blood deficient, you tend to be pale, your complexion is more pale. If you compare your lips and your nails with other people, it will be paler than them because there's not enough blood to go there, right? Dizziness, blurry vision, arrhythmia, so sometimes you feel like your heart is beating very fast, okay? Insomnia, forgetfulness, because there's not enough blood to support your normal functions, right? So you might have these symptoms. And numbness in your hands and feet is because these are four ends of your body. When there's not enough blood, the blood can't reach those ends, so you get numbness. Okay, that's just a basic understanding. Then next we have yin and yang deficiency. The concept of yin and yang is a dual relationship that everything exists as complementary but interconnected forces. So you can understand it as a general overall balance in your body. So qi is actually a subset of yang, and blood is a subset of yin. When you have qi or blood deficiency for prolonged periods of time, combined with other factors, then the syndrome will progress into yin and yang deficiency. So here, the yin deficiency, yin generally refers to the moisturizing, nourishing forces in our body. So when you don't have enough yin, you will present as more dry symptoms. So you get dry mouth, dry throat, you have very flushed cheeks, hot sensations in your palms and your soles, and hot flushes, which are very common in menopausal women, or night sweats. Night sweats are when you go to sleep, you are normal, but when you wake up, you realize that you sweat a lot at night. But it's not like you were just sleeping, but you just have a lot of sweat. And dry skin, because there's not enough moisture, your skin will be more dry, and your stools might become small and hard. Okay. Then these are yang deficient symptoms. Yang represents the vibrancy, the vitality of life, and refers more to the warming effects of our body. So when there's insufficient yang in your body, you will present as colder symptoms. So you're very scared of cold. Your hands and feet are always cold. Even though you're not in aircon room, your hands are always colder than other people, and tiredness, lack of energy. These overlap with the Qi deficient symptoms, since Qi is also a subset of Yang, right? And water retention, backache, increased urination, loose stools, and all these symptoms will tend to worsen when it's cold. And maybe when you go to colder countries or when you're in cold aircon rooms, these symptoms will worsen, become more obvious. Okay, so next, these are the excess states. So other than having sufficient levels of qi and blood, the circulation of these sources of energy is also very important for the normal functioning of our bodies. So in excess states, qi and blood circulation are disrupted. They cause blockages in our meridian channels, and that's how the symptoms appear. So in qi stagnation, this is most commonly linked to fluctuations in our mood, stress, anger, or sadness. When your emotions are affected, then the movement of qi will also be affected. And then maybe the qi is stuck at your chest, then you will feel like you have periodic chest tightness that will worsen when you are stressed or when you are angry. So this one, if you have sudden chest tightness, you should always check whether you have is a sign of heart attacks. Okay, but this one should be a periodic thing that comes and goes with your mood. This is a symptom that it's referring to. So you might sigh a lot, because when you sigh, it provides temporary relief to the stuck circulation of qi in your chest. So some people, they keep sighing. It could be a sign of qi stagnation. And then when it's stuck at your intestines, you have more flatulence, you might burp more, or you might fart a lot. Okay, and these are always affected by your mood fluctuations and stress levels. So blood stagnation, these are commonly associated with external injuries. So like when you hit something, then you have bruises. That's a very physical manifestation of blood stagnation. But of course, the blood circulation can also be affected by other factors, and they'll present as these symptoms here. You have sharp and localized pain, like bruises, and dry skin, since blood is a subset of yin, and there's not enough moisture to moisture your skin. Then discoloration on skin, other than bruises, age spots are also a symptom of blood stagnation, and your circulation is not as good, so you have darker and more purplish lips. Okay, and typically these symptoms, the pain might worsen at night. Okay, these are general guidelines of these syndromes. So after we learning about these general TCM syndromes, let's look at some herbs that are often used in prescriptions but can also be added into your diet as tea, in your soups, desserts maybe, in your diet. But when you add it in your diet, it's usually at a smaller dosage than if you take it as medication. And in TCM prescriptions, the cocktail, the combination of herbs used, will produce certain herb interactions that produce specific effects. So by adding it into your diet, it cannot replace medications. If you are on any medication, you just replace it. Okay, always ask your doctors before you stop any medications. And so since the therapeutic effects may not be as strong, they are generally used to boost our general overall well-being. Okay, so now let's learn about the herbs. First up, we have the wolfberry or the goji berries, the goqizi. Yeah, I'm sure you have seen it in your soups or in desserts, more recently in your acai bowls. So these goji berries, they are called superfoods because of all their benefits and the antioxidant effects. So the TCM effects that you see here, these are how goji berries are used in TCM prescriptions, how we use it to help our patients. And the therapeutic effects are determined through modern research, mostly on animals. They test on mice, so the active components have shown to have these therapeutic effects. Okay, so for the goji berries, in TCM, we might use it to tonify your kidney, your liver. So these kidney and liver, they are not just the kidneys and the liver. It's more of a whole system. It's not exactly the same as Western science, although they correlate also. It's a bigger system, okay? And it can nourish the yin, replenish zinc essence, which is also another moisturizing source of energy in your body, and improve vision. Yeah, sometimes we have dry eyes or blurry vision. This is one of the herbs that we will add to your prescriptions. But the therapeutic effects, it can enhance the immunity by increasing the amount of white blood cells in your body, and protects the liver by preventing fatty deposits. So this can help to prevent fatty liver or help to alleviate the symptom if you already have fatty liver, promote liver cell regeneration, and it can help to lower the cholesterol. It can help lower triglycerides and the low density cholesterol, which are the bad cholesterols, and reduce blood sugar, enhance fertility, and it's a very powerful antioxidant, which is why it's also quite hyped up in modern diets and food nowadays. So antioxidants are a very important part of your diet because they are compounds that remove free radicals in your body. So free radicals, they are reactive molecules that will cause cellular damage and oxidative stress on your cells. And these are commonly associated with many diseases, and they cause premature aging. So when to delay aging for overall health, it's good to add goji berries into your diet, okay? Then later we'll learn how to add it in. Then next is the Chinese yam, which is the shan yao that many of you would have probably tasted it or added it into your herbal soups. They are the white and looks a bit like potato. So the TCM effects, they help to tonify the spleen, the stomach. So the spleen and the stomach together, they represent the digestive system in our bodies. So if you have a weaker digestion, this is something that TCM physicians will probably add into your prescriptions, okay? Helps to replenish skin, enhance kidney qi. And for the therapeutic effects, it has shown to be able to regulate the bowel movements, so improves the digestion of food and absorption of nutrients. And this aligns with how TCM use it in the prescriptions, right? And furthermore, this has no shown effects on like bile or stomach acids. So if you have acid reflux, this is a pretty safe herb to take and or to add into your diet. And it can reduce blood sugar, enhance immunity. It also has antioxidative effects. But a very important thing to note is that this Chinese yam, a lot of doctors, they will probably recommend their patients not to take it because of the mild estrogenic effects. So if you have hormone sensitive diseases, it's unsuitable for you. For example, patients with breast cancer, ovarian cancer, even though this helps to replenish your overall qi, help with your digestion system, it might not be suitable because of the estrogenic effects. If you're not sure, always consult your doctor before you add this into your diet, okay? Like even though it's in a very small dosage, it might affect, okay? Then next is the chrysanthemum, 菊花. So in TCM, we usually use it to dispel heat, expel heat, brighten vision, and detoxifying effects, and calming the liver. So liver is commonly associated with your emotions. Sometimes when you're very stressed, easily angry, this is a herb that you can consider adding. And the therapeutic effects can improve cardiac health by helping to lower your blood pressure and preventing your blood pressure from increasing too high, and decrease inflammation by increasing the permeability of the capillaries in your body. And it has shown to be able to fight against infections because it has antibacterial and antiviral effects. So they have shown, the active compounds have shown to be able to fight against common colds or the herpes simplex virus, which causes like heat rash. So this is also why chrysanthemum is commonly used in TCM concoctions for common colds or fevers, or when you have chills. This is something that might be in your prescription, okay? But other than that, the other benefits also make it very suitable for taking it as a tea beverage every day. Okay? Okay, next is the hawthorn, which is shancha. So in TCM, we usually use it to improve digestion, strengthen the stomach, improve the qi and blood circulation. So it's very commonly used on children or adults with indigestion. And in TCM herbs, it's found to be especially useful for digesting meat, specifically meat. Okay, other than helping with digestion, specifically meat. And when you look at the therapeutic effects, it kind of explains why. Because there's a lot of acids in hawthorn, there's like citric acids, tartaric acids. All these acids in hawthorn, right, they help to enhance the secretion of your stomach acids, increase the activity of the stomach enzymes in your stomach in order to digest proteins. And it also increases the contractions of the smooth muscles in our digestive tract. So this together, it helps to enhance, improve digestion, helps to aid in digestion. So maybe one day when you feel like you ate too much, you are so full that it's painful, you can consider taking a cup of hawthorn juice. But in hawker centers, I think they usually sell it cold. If you have indigestion, maybe you can ask for less ice or no ice, because the coldness might affect your digestion also, okay? Then it also can regulate metabolism lowers your cholesterol, your bad cholesterol, and helps to increase your good cholesterol in some cases, can improve your cardiac health, has protective effects against heart attacks, okay? Decrease blood pressure, and has antioxidative effects. However, because this hawthorn has a lot of acids inside, if you have stomach acid reflux problems, maybe you want to avoid this in case it worsens your symptoms, okay? And the last herb of the day is the angelica root, which is the tang gui, also commonly used in soups. So in TCM, we use it to replenish blood and at the same time improve the circulation of blood. So you don't just nourish blood, you also ensure that it moves. So it's like dual function. And because it helps to improve blood circulation, it can also have analgesic effects, which is like relieving pain that are caused by blood stagnation. Okay? And commonly it's also used to help younger women regulate their periods. They are caused by maybe blood stagnation or blood deficiency. Okay? And the therapeutic effects, it has shown that it can enhance blood production by increasing the amount of white blood cell, hemoglobin in the body. And the active compounds also contain vitamin B12 and folic acid, which are important components in red blood cell production. So that's why anemic patients, maybe this is a herb that they might include in their diet to help boost their red blood cell production, okay, increase their red blood cell. And it also helps to reduce the aggregation of platelets. Platelets, they are blood cells. When you bleed, these platelets will aggregate together to stop bleeding, form a clot and stop bleeding. Okay, so when you reduce the aggregation of platelets, your blood will flow better, and this helps to improve the blood circulation. However, it may also increase the risk of bleeding if the individual is taking anticoagulants, for example, warfarin or aspirin. So if you're taking those medications, you would want to be more careful when you take tang gui, or it's better to ask your physician whether it's suitable, okay? And it can also help to reduce cholesterol and atherosclerosis, which might cause heart attacks, enhance immunity, okay? And actually, the tang gui also has this active compound called the ferulic acid. These are primarily used to fight off free radicals. They are added into skin products nowadays, but it probably has anti-aging effects when you take it also, okay? And another important thing to note, right, is that tang gui has this angelica root. They have shown to regulate the contraction of uterus by increasing the contraction of your uterus. So if you're going to share the food, the tea with someone pregnant, you want to be more careful and cautious, probably ask them not to take it, okay? Okay, so now after we learn about these commonly used herbs, we can look at some recipes. But before we look at the recipes, please note that everything is best taken in moderation. So even though it might be super applicable to your symptom, don't take it in moderation. You don't have to take it every day and take it excessively. Maybe the tea recipes, you take it 1-2 cups a day, 2-3 times a week. That is sufficient. Okay, you don't have to take it every day and like 4-5 cups. Not too much. Okay. So firstly, we have the rose tea. So rose in TCM, we use it to soothe emotions, help to calm the liver, and it's especially good for females. Some research has shown that it can also help to reduce period cramps. So we also add goji berries, a powerful antioxidant, to enhance the good effects and antioxidative effects. So you can just add this in water and just boil it and simmer, and then you can take it. Okay, and goji berries are quite sweet, so this should taste quite nice, especially if you love rose flavored beverages or desserts. Okay, so it's very suitable for individuals who are stressed, and if you have any of the tea stagnation symptoms, it can help to relieve it. You'll feel lighter, less emotionally stressed after that. Okay, but if you want to use a rose tea that you buy from like NTUC or outside, some of the rose tea might contain caffeine. So if you want to avoid caffeine, maybe you can buy those fresh rose buds or rose petals. Then you just wash it clean, and then you can make your own rose tea without caffeine. Okay. But if you don't mind the caffeine, then maybe it's more convenient to just use the rose tea and add the goji berries in and just pour hot water. Okay, then the next one is the brown sugar ginger tea, 黑糖 or 红糖姜茶. It's commonly used in younger females during their periods. Maybe they take it, they feel better because it's very warm, helps to relieve pain. Okay, but it has a lot of beneficial effects, so it's suitable for anyone, any gender of all ages. Okay, so you can just take fresh ginger, a bit of brown sugar and jujubes, which are red dates. Then you wash and peel the ginger, cut into thin slices, and then you boil it together and leave it to simmer. So the brown sugar, you can add it if you want to reduce the spiciness from the ginger. But if you want to reduce on your sugar intake, you can just skip it. Okay, a lot of these recipes you can just modify according to your liking and what is suitable for you. Okay, because actually the red dates are really sweet, so you don't really need to add extra sugar. But if you want it to be more sweet, then okay lah. Okay, as long as your blood sugar is fine. So because the ginger and the red dates, their properties are more warm according to TCM, so they can help to expel coldness, dampness. They can warm and tonify the spleen, and it's especially suitable for young deficient individuals. If you have any of the symptoms, you can try taking maybe 1 cup of this a few times a week, and after you take it, you'll feel better because your stomach is warmed up. Maybe it might improve your appetite also, so you can try. But if you start having heaty symptoms after taking this tea, then maybe you want to cut down, or you use less red dates, less ginger. Okay, then the next one is the eye relief tea. So the chrysanthemum and the goji berries, as we learned just now, it can help to enhance your vision, right? So this mondo grass, Mai Tong, it has yin nourishing properties. So it can replenish the moisture in your body and help with dry symptoms. So when you have dry eyes, red eyes, this is a tea that you can consider taking. And the rock sugar is also up to you, because the goji berries and mondo grass are quite sweet. You can take it out if you can take the taste. You can add honey or rock sugar. Either one is fine actually. You just boil them together and then add a bit of flavoring if you want and drink it. Yeah. So actually, if you have a sieve, right, because of these flowers and the herbs, if you have a sieve, actually you can just use a sieve to sieve through whatever you have boiled for a better taste, so you don't get like flowers in your mouth. Okay, like that, you don't need to swallow all those herbs. You just boil it. Okay, and then so it helps to reduce eye redness, dryness. And then this is the next tea, wolfberry red date tea. This is actually a similar recipe. The difference is just no more mondo grass. And you add red dates instead. So goji berries, red dates. Then the chrysanthemum here is to help balance out the warming effects of goji berries and red dates. So if you don't think you are heaty, you can actually skip the chrysanthemum. But if you're more heaty body, then you add the chrysanthemum. Then you just add together and boil and to serve. So goji berries and red dates, they are both red, right? So in Chinese, like 以形补形, these red things can help to replenish blood and qi in your body. We have more blood, then helps to calm your mind, soothe your emotions. So if you have blood deficient symptoms, you can consider trying this. Then the next one is the chrysanthemum hawthorn tea. So hawthorn and chrysanthemum, they both have lowering blood pressure and lowering blood cholesterol effects. You can add tea leaves if you are a fan of tea, but you can skip it if you don't want the caffeine also. You can just brew all these together, and this can help to improve digestion, reduce your blood pressure, dispel heat. Okay, because of the chrysanthemum, the heat dispelling properties. And this is another recipe for lowering your blood pressure, lowering your blood cholesterol. Hawthorn, apple, celery, lemon for the extra zest in your drink. Okay, so the celery has antioxidant effects, a lot of fiber, it has 0 calories. So if you're on a diet, you can take this safely. And the apples have this chemical called pectin that helps to remove toxins from your digestive tract. And then this reduces the amount of toxins that your liver has to clear. So overall, these are good for your liver, good for your digestive tract. And green apples, red apples, not much of a difference. Their functions are mainly the same, but green apples have slightly less sugar. So if you want to avoid sugar, you can take green apples. Okay, then the rock sugar and honey, they are up to you. And because these are more cooling, maybe you don't take it as like a breakfast drink. Take it after you have some food. Okay? Okay, and next one is a porridge recipe. So these are just herbs that you can add into your porridge. The Chinese yam, Chinese barley, goji berries to add some color, and some meat. So you just add these all together to prepare your porridge. And Chinese yam and the barley, they're all good for spleen, and they help to get rid of dampness, because in Singapore it's quite humid. Sometimes some people have very damp symptoms. Okay, improves your digestion, regulate bowel movements, remove the dampness. And because they're all white, they're more whitish in color, it actually has whitening effects also because of the 以形补形 effects. Then the last recipe of the day is the kampong chicken soup that is very easy to make, and general well-being is good for everyone. You can use a kampong chicken because it has less fats, right? And use the tangshan, Chinese yam, goji berries, angelica root, jujubes. Then you just add all these and prepare your chicken soup. You can leave it to simmer for 1 to 2 hours, or you can put it in your slow cooker. Okay, and this you can share with everyone. So although the herbs are more warming, if you share it with everyone, it's actually okay. Okay, and helps to enhance energy, increase immunity, increase your blood production. So this is the last recipe of the day. And before I end, maybe some of you will be wondering, do you need to see a physician? I have some of the symptoms that were listed just now. Does that mean I'm sick? So I would say if the symptoms don't affect your daily lives, it doesn't cause great discomfort, you can go on with your daily life as usual. You sleep well, eat well, you can pass motion, you urinate normally, and your health checkup is all okay, then you don't have to see a doctor. To alleviate the symptoms, you can try some of the recipes that I shared just now. But if the symptoms are causing you great discomfort and inconvenience, then maybe you want to consider seeing a physician for a proper diagnosis and treatment to recalibrate your body so that you can live healthily and comfortably. Okay, so this is the end of my sharing. Now will be the Q&A time. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments box. Oh, so the first question is, what is qi? So qi is like a source of energy. In TCM, we understand it as the foundation, the basis of the normal functioning of our bodies. If you want to relate it to Western science, it could be your immunity, your energy levels. Okay, but there's no super strong correlation to Western science. Oh, And how do I tell if I am heaty? So just now I mentioned some herbs, they are more warming properties. So if you take too much of it, you might have heaty symptoms such as you are very thirsty, your mouth is very dry. No matter how much water you drink, you still feel thirsty, your mouth is still dry. Then maybe that's heaty, and then you might have constipation, your stools become very hard. So this is when maybe you should cut down on the warming herbs and maybe try to take some cooling herbs like chrysanthemum or the mondo grass, add it into your diet to help to soothe those heatiness and drink more water. How to treat hot flush through TCM? So hot flush is the sudden flush of hotness that comes up, right? So this hot flush is commonly associated with ink deficient symptoms, right? If it's causing you a lot of discomfort, a lot of inconvenience, then maybe you want to find a TCM, a registered physician for a proper diagnosis so that she can come up with a treatment plan that targets your symptoms, okay? Can someone have both qi and blood stagnation? How to improve them? Yes, because qi and blood, they are interconnected, yin and yang, they're interconnected. So usually when one circulation is affected, the other one will also be affected. So qi and blood stagnation, the symptoms might overlap sometimes, you'll show. So to improve them in TCM, the treatment options, you can actually do acupuncture to help to relieve those symptoms, or you can take the herbs medications. But if you think it's not like severe enough to see a physician, then you can try using the qi stagnation recipes like the rose tea, or you can maybe take some tang gui, okay, or peppermint tea can also help with some qi stagnation problems. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Where is zinc essence? Okay, I'll have to talk about a lot more basics of TCM. It's a bit deeper. Zinc is, you just understand it as a type of vital energy that nourishes your body, and when there's insufficient zinc, you will present symptoms that are more dry, okay? But overall, you can understand as yin energy. Can we put goji together with chrysanthemum to make a drink? Yes, you can. In fact, that's also a great recipe because goji is more warm and chrysanthemum is more cooling, so they can balance out each other. Okay, you can just put it together, but don't put too much goji, maybe a bit, and you can adjust it according to your body's response to it. Okay. Where to buy Chinese yam? I think they sell it in the markets or in the supermarkets. Yeah, it's a type of food actually. It's called shan yao or huai shan. If you don't know where to get it, you can also go to the herbal shops. Herbal shops to buy. Just say you want Chinese yam, shan yao, huai shan, and they can give it to you. Okay? Is it true that goji berries properties get destroyed in hot water, and how to cook goji berry? I don't think, maybe some properties might be affected by the heat, but goji berries are very commonly used in herbal concoctions, like when we brew our medicine. So I don't think most of the active compounds will be destroyed. Maybe just don't boil it for too long. If you are taking as tea, 10 to 15 minutes is enough. If you're taking it as a herbal concoction, then you should ask your physician how to best cook it. It should be about 30 to 45 minutes. Then the properties will still be there. How is a typical TCM consultation like without known sickness? Just let the TCM physician feel my pulse, and then the physician will be able to tell if I have qi, blood, yin, or yang deficiency or stagnation, and then prescribe the packed Chinese medicine accordingly. Is this the normal procedure? Yes, like just now, the slide that has the 4 diagnostic tools, right? There has the 4 diagnostic tools. So the sight, hear, smell, and ask. So when you go for TCM consultation without known illness, you just want to boost your overall health. You can tell them like, oh, 我今天我就是要来调理身体, or I just want to enhance my health. They'll probably ask you about any symptoms that you have. Maybe how's your sleep, how's your bowel movement, how's your appetite, how's your mood, and then look at your tongue, feel your pulse, and this will produce a pattern of symptoms, and the physician can come up with a specific TCM syndrome diagnosis for you. And if they feel like you need to take Chinese medicine, they will prescribe it accordingly. If not, maybe they can prescribe you tea bags. Just take for general well-being. Because actually, if you're not sick, you don't have to take medicine. Okay? Yes, and that's the normal procedure. And maybe they might suggest acupuncture or cupping if they find it suitable for your condition. Okay? I make Chinese yam with goji berry soup once a week for the family. Is it fine? Yes, it is fine. That's a good way to help with your spleen, your digestion, overall well-being. You can add chicken or pork ribs, okay, to enhance the effects. Yes, once a week, and because the whole family shares it, right? So it's actually not too heaty or anything. It's good for overall well-being. So keep it up. Can hawthorn be taken for people with acid reflux? So as I shared just now, because hawthorn has more acidic compounds inside, if you have acid reflux and you still want to take hawthorn, I would suggest you take it in smaller dosages first, see how your body reacts, because everyone's acid reflux has different symptoms, have different tolerance to hawthorn. So maybe you start with small dosages and see whether your body can take it. But if you take it and the acid reflux is bad, then just stop, okay? Is it true that ice cold food and drinks are generally not good for our constitution? Yes. Okay, the TCM, right, ice drinks, cold food, raw food, they understand it as it's very cold, so it might affect the circulation of your blood, of qi. So usually your physicians will tell you not to take it, especially if you have underlying diseases. Although I think, yes, if you take like 1 or 2 cups and you don't have any adverse reactions, then it's fine to take it, but definitely not too much. And especially if you are older, your functions are already not as robust, your spleen is not as strong, then don't take so much of it. If I want to explain it in Western science, is your body internally, it's about 37 degrees, it's warmer inside. So when you suddenly introduce like a very cold raw food into your body, it will cause like a bit of imbalance and might cause uncomfiness or symptoms. Okay? How much water do we need to add boiling the tea? 1 cup, 2 cups. Yes, as long as you cover the herbs, maybe 200, 500 ml of water. And if you're going to put it in the boiling pot, you can actually just brew it, just add water until the taste fades. But just don't drink too much. Everything in moderation. Maybe you can share it with everyone. Okay? What's the difference between big and small dates? And red dates, seedless or with seeds? Actually, I'm not sure about the difference between all the dates. But if you're just going to add it into your diet, in general, I don't think it will make a very big difference. Whatever is more accessible to you, whichever taste you prefer, I think it's fine to just add it. Okay? Is the tea recipe for everyday consumption? As I said just now, everything should be taken in moderation. So if you want to take it every day, maybe no, I'll say maybe 2-3 times a week, especially if you're taking those that lowers your blood cholesterol, lowers your blood pressure, those with hawthorn, chrysanthemum, they are very cooling. So if you take it too much, it might cause adverse reactions in your body. Okay, so maybe you try taking it 1 to 2 cups a day, 2-3 times a week, and see how you feel. But if you take like 1 cup every day, I think it's fine also. What are damp symptoms? So the damp can be caused by different factors. But in general, your damp symptoms is like 湿气重, right? Sometimes you have water retention, you might have giddiness or headache, and your appetite is probably affected. And one of the most obvious signs of dampness is your tongue coating will be very thick. like the white coat on your tongue is very thick. It might become yellow if there's heat also, and your stools will become more sticky. Like instead of having normal shaped ones, it's more sticky. It might stick to the toilet bowl. Okay. Which ingredient is not suitable for those taking blood thinning medicine? So the one that I talked about just now is the angelica root, tang gui. So basically if you're taking blood thinning medicine, warfarin or aspirin, and you want to take TCM, right, always inform your physician that you are already taking blood thinning medications. So they will probably avoid or reduce those herbs that increases blood circulation, because when you increase blood circulation, you might cause bleeding. What is the effect of adding chrysanthemum to pu tea leaves? I'm actually not very sure about tea leaves, but I think pu is already a little bit bitter, and the chrysanthemum is also a bit more bitter because of the cooling effects. You can try adding maybe a little bit into your pu tea to see how's the taste like. Okay, how's the taste like? I don't think there's a very big difference lah. But maybe try to separate it because I don't know how the properties will affect each other. Okay. Regarding Chinese yam, in terms of medical property, is there a difference between those from China and from Japan? I don't know about the difference between Chinese yam in China and Japan, but in our dispensaries, usually our Chinese yams are from China. So maybe those from Japan has a different inclination towards one of the effects. You can ask the seller to tell you more about it. Okay. Oh, do you provide consultation? Yes, I do provide consultation, and our clinic has a lot of other physicians. If you're interested, you can check out our website and call our front desk to make an appointment. Yeah, we can see many conditions. And what is a good soup or tea to take for type 1 diabetics? So for type 1 diabetes, it's because your body has an autoimmune response against insulin. It's destroying your pancreatic cells, right? So I would say the Chinese herbs, they can't reverse that effect. They can't turn your autoimmune response around. But if you have any symptoms, like maybe you're very thirsty or those, then you can take the herbs that match your symptoms, like I shared just now. Okay, and maybe add less sugar when you're taking those recipes. Can you eat dates and goji berries as a snack without boiling? Yes, you can. I think a lot of people take it as snacks, but of course you need to control the portion because they're a bit heaty. It might cause the heatiness in you. So just take it in moderation. You can take it without boiling. Okay? Why do I feel lousy taking chrysanthemum? What do you mean lousy? Do you mean uncomfortable? Maybe if you feel lousy, like your stomach is uncomfortable after you take the chrysanthemum, right? It could be because your stomach is weaker and your body is not that heaty. Maybe your body is more towards the cold side, the more deficient side. So taking chrysanthemum is more of a heat dispelling, strong cooling herb. So you should stop taking it, and maybe you can take some goji berries because they are more warm and see whether it makes you feel better. Chrysanthemum, hawthorn, and wolfberry, do we just pour hot water or do we boil them in water? I think if you're taking it in the herb form, then you can boil them in water so that the taste is not so strong and you can get some of the active compounds out. If the chrysanthemum is like chrysanthemum flower leaves is for tea, then you can just put it in the teapot and add hot water and maybe let it soak for a while, let the taste come out, let the aroma come out. Okay, for pre-diabetic, safe to consume goji or dates? That will also depend That will also depend on how high your sugar level is, because these goji berries actually they has some blood. It can help to reduce blood sugar, enhance the regeneration of your B cells, right? So I would think it's not harmful, but you need to take it in moderation, and probably you can't take it as much as other people because goji berries and dates are quite sweet. If you are unsure, you can always check back with your doctor, or if you take it, then you monitor your blood sugar, see whether taking these goji or red dates in small dosages first, whether it causes big fluctuations in your blood sugar. Okay? For diabetes, can brown sugar be removed from the tea recipe? Yes, all the recipes you can modify it according to your body, according to how your body is receptive or your underlying conditions. So for diabetics, I think you should just remove all the sugar, honey, rock sugar from the recipes, because the red dates and goji berries have sweetness in them by itself. Can use any fresh rose petal from garden for rose tea? I think there's no harm doing that, because if you grow it by yourself, there's probably no pesticides. It's clean, more organic. Just make sure you wash it properly before you take it. Yeah, maybe you need to make sure you wash it properly, then you sieve it after you boil. Okay? What is good for reducing fatty liver? So for fatty liver, the most important thing is your diet and exercise. Okay, you definitely have to modify your diet, cut down on meat, cut down on oily fried food, and exercise a lot. But like I shared just now, goji berries actually can help to prevent fatty deposits in liver. That's some research has, some studies on animals has shown that. So you can no harm adding it into your diet. Okay? And you can take all those antioxidants. It should help with your condition also. Mondo grass, how does it look like? It looks like in our dispensary, like those that we use as medicine, it's like goji berries kind of shape. It's like this shape, and it's more like pale brown, light brown, whitish kind. Yeah, Mai Dong, it's called Mai Dong. If you want to take it, you can go to the herbal medication shops and ask for Mai Dong. They definitely will have it. Okay, what is the best herb for good circulation of the blood? There's no best herb. There's only a best herb that suits your body constitution, your TCM syndrome. So if you want, you need to find a TCM physician to help you determine that. If not, the Tang Gui Angelica root, that's a quite a good herb to help with circulation of blood. But of course, be careful if you're already taking blood thinning medicine. Yes, goji berries are also known as wolf berries. They're the same. For depression, better to see psychology or any Chinese medicine. That will also depend on the condition, how serious it is. If it's very serious, it might be better for you to see a psychiatrist and take Western medicine. But Chinese medicine definitely also has very obvious effects for mental illnesses, depression. It's just that the effects might not be as fast, especially if you have already been taking Western medications for a long period of time. If you want to add Chinese medicine, you cannot stop your Western medicine immediately. Usually you will take Chinese medicine or acupuncture to complement, and then you slowly cut down your reliance on the Western medicine, because it might have side effects that cause discomfort. Yep. Okay, next, I hope that helps. You can always find a registered physician to find out more about your condition. Okay? How to treat itchy red bumps on skin? That could be mosquito bites, or is it hives? To be safe and to be more certain, I think you can take a picture when the bumps appear, and then you can visit your physician, like Chinese physician or Western doctor, to find out more. Okay? Because itchy red bumps, I think you would probably have to take medication. You cannot just rely on incorporating tea recipes in your diet. You mentioned hot flush is due to ink deficiency. So what tea can I drink before seeking TCM doctor? So those that help to replenish ink, I think you can take rose tea because it like generally it helps with female symptoms. Rose tea and the mondo grass, which is mai tong, it also helps to replenish ink. And another herb that a lot of people use is the shihu. I don't know what it's called in in English. Is shihu. It's also good for replenishing ink. If not, you can try with rose tea first. See whether it helps to alleviate some of your symptoms. And you should avoid fried food, like fried oily food. Okay, that may harm the ink in your body. Is berdosh the English name for Chinese yam? No, I think the berdosh root is 牛蒡子. Chinese yam is 山药. Yeah, but you can check with the seller to be sure. Must all these drinks be consumed during the day only? I think it will be better to consume it during the day, especially if you're going to add it to tea because of the caffeine effects. And also but for the more cooling recipes that I mentioned just now, the Hawthorn celery juice, right? Maybe it's a bit cooling. You should take it after your meals. So those that can be taken at night, maybe you can rose tea. I think it's suitable to take it at night. But if not, maybe best to eat less at night because it might affect your sleep. Okay. What to apply on skin to stop itchiness? That would depend on what kind of skin what kind of rash that you have. So to be sure, you should approach a professional. Okay. But I know a generic medication to apply is probably aloe vera. You can see whether it helps to soothe the inflammation. Okay. Can I replace black chicken with normal chicken for herbal soup? Yes, you can. Any chicken is fine. It's just maybe you choose those with less fats so that you reduce the amount of cholesterol and fats that you're taking. Okay. Please help. Is there any TCM for me to sleep well? Insomnia. Yes, TCM can definitely help with insomnia, but because insomnia also has different TCM syndrome types, to get a better and more targeted treatment, I would recommend that you find a registered physician to get a diagnosis, and they'll probably prescribe herbal powder to you. Okay. Huaishan, is it best to take fresh ones or dried ones? I think there's not much difference. Whatever you can, because it's just adding it into your diet. It's in very small dosages, right? So fresh and dried Chinese yam, I don't think it makes a very big difference. You can just add whichever is better to add into your soups or porridge. Okay. What is recommended for pain in toes and fingertips in cold weather? So the pain in your toes and fingertips, we also need to find out the reason why. Like, why is it pain? Is it because of arthritis? If it's arthritis, there are certain specific medications to take. If your pain is because of the coldness, then I would recommend you take maybe more warming tea, some goji berries, some ginger tea. The ginger tea, you can try taking it and see whether it helps with the condition. And always wear gloves. Yeah, keep warm. Is chrysanthemum cooling taken alone? So this cooling property, right? It has cooling properties, but it could be suitable if you have a more heaty constitution or syndrome type. So it will depend on what kind of syndrome type you have, but you can definitely take it alone if it's just a tea beverage and it doesn't make you feel bad, uncomfortable after you take it. Okay, what benefits does Aichu have? Okay, I assume this means moxibustion, the one where you take the Aichu stick and then you light it to warm it over your body parts, right? So Aichu is more of a warming property, helps to boost overall well-being. So maybe when you have very cooler symptoms, Aichu would definitely help. Can also help with help with increasing your qi, your blood circulation. But to be sure, always approach a registered physician to find out more. And if you're doing it by yourself, always be careful not to burn yourself. Okay, keep it further away from your skin. Can TCM treat mild stroke, as Western doctor uses aspirin to thin down blood? Can't go for any TCM herb to replace aspirin or warming. TCM can treat mild stroke, but if your Western doctor asks you to take aspirin, don't stop it before you get their approval, okay? Always continue taking it. I would think it's suitable for acupuncture. You just have to inform your physician that you are taking aspirin so that they are more careful when they do acupuncture on you. Make sure that your bleeding there's no excessive bleeding. So because acupuncture doesn't really cause bleeding, not that serious. TCM herb to replace aspirin. TCM herbs to replace aspirin will be those that help to boost blood circulation, like the Angelica root, the Tang Gui. But you can take it together, but don't stop aspirin totally. Maybe you can try taking it and see whether your body reacts well to it. But don't stop your medication before your doctor says okay. Is hawthorn too sweet for diabetic patient? I'm not too sure about the amount of sugar in hawthorn. It should be fine as long as you don't take too much of it. So as I said just now, if you are worried about whether it's too sweet, right, you can take it in small dosages first and see whether it causes great fluctuations to your blood sugar. Okay. Will the slime of Chinese yam adversely affect? What do you mean by the slime? You mean the residue? I don't think you're adversely Huaishan. What do you mean by the slime? Maybe you can make sure you wash it more before you cook it, or maybe cut it into smaller pieces. Yeah. After taking Western medicine or vitamins, can I consume the tea or herbal soup? Vitamins are just supplements, so I think you can take it together. But for Western medications, maybe you want to take them about 2 hours apart, because there's not enough research into the herb drug interaction, so we don't know how it might interact together. So take it 2 hours apart. Okay. For supplements, I think it's not a big issue. Can we eat dried dates like tidbit? Yes, you can eat dried dates like tidbits. Like some shops, they do sell it as tidbits, right? The benefits are it's good for your spleen, enhance blood and qi in your body, and it's good it's more warming. So if you have colder symptoms, this could be beneficial to you. But of course, always control your portions, because when you snack on things, you might eat too much, and then you will end up with heaty symptoms. Okay. Is cordyceps blood thinning medication? If you want to take medication, don't self-medicate. If you want to take medication, always look for a registered physician, and then the physician will ask you about your symptoms using the diagnostic tools to determine what kind of syndrome type you are, and then give you a corresponding targeted treatment. Okay? If on Western meds, what is the time interval before TCM meds? To be safe, we usually recommend the medications to be taken 2 hours apart, so that they don't mix in the stomach. Okay, about 2 hours. But to find out more, you should always ask your physician. Okay. What herbs to use to boil cooling drink? Do you mean to more cooling stuff? Just now on the recipe, the eye relief tea, I think it's more cooling because it has, maybe you can reduce the amount of goji berries. But cooling drinks will be, you can use the chrysanthemum. There's also Jing Yinghua, but that might be a bit bitter. cooling, yeah, I think you can take chrysanthemum tea. That's the one that we introduced just now. That's pretty safe. Okay. Is it true that dried goji berries and red dates are preserved with sulfur? I don't think so. And also that would depend on which supplier you get it from. So they have different ways of processing it. Okay? So that will depend on where you get this where you get your stocks from. How do you know if your body is heaty or cooling? So cooling, if your body is more cooling, you have more of the yang deficient symptoms, like you are very scared of cold, your limbs are always very cold compared to other people. And when you take cold drinks, you immediately feel very uncomfortable. It gives you a stomach ache, like indigestion kind of feeling. Okay, and you're more pale usually. Then for heaty, you're adverse to heat. So you'll be easily, you feel hot more easily than other people, and then you have the dry mouth, you're very thirsty, maybe you have dry stools. These are all heaty symptoms. Yeah, so how do you know? Maybe you try taking heaty food and cooling food and see whether your body reacts to it. Is radish reduced herb powder? I don't really understand that question. Radish root. Okay, sorry, I don't understand that question. Okay, what to take can help to prevent polyps in colon. So if you want these therapeutic effects, it's very important to determine the TCM syndrome type of your body in order to prescribe the correct and targeted herbs. Okay, so maybe don't self-medicate. Always look for a registered physician. But in general, if you want to maintain your gut health, you try to keep to a cleaner diet. You can eat more antioxidants and apples. Apples are good for cleansing the toxins out of your body so that you reduce the growth of polyps in your colon. Yeah, and maybe you can take some probiotics to maintain your gut health. Okay, nowadays medical shops are selling goji berries in organic form. Any difference in non-organic type? I guess organic. I'm not sure about this because we usually just take it from our suppliers. Maybe organic, they are cleaner. They don't use pesticides, I guess. But if you're comfortable with, you should just take whichever type you're comfortable with. Yeah. I don't know if there's a very big difference. I don't think so. Heatiness, what TCM herbs is recommended? So heatiness, I would say chrysanthemum is a very safe herb that you can take. And you can add amando grass also to help to nourish the yin and dispel heat. And other than that, you can also take Jing Ying Hua, but that's a bit bitter. And maybe you can try green tea. Green tea is more cooling because it's less fermented. Okay, drinking all these before or after meals and how many hours apart? I think you don't have to be very, very strict about this. After meals, maybe 15-20 minutes after meals, I think it's fine. It's just for those more cooling drinks like the celery, the apple drink, the hawthorn, like before you eat hawthorn. Maybe take after meals is better because it's more cooling, or it might activate the stomach enzymes and cause discomfort if there's no food in your stomach. Okay? Any TCM recipes for menstrual cramp? So for menstrual cramp, I think the chicken soup may help because there's tang gui inside, helps to boost blood circulation. But menstrual cramps can also be because of different reasons. If it's causing you a lot of pain, I think it's better for you to find a registered physician and get a targeted treatment. Okay, TCM recipes, you can also try rose tea. Rose tea has some studies have shown that rose tea can help with menstrual cramps. And always take it warm. When you have cramps, try to avoid cold drinks, like 1 week before your period. And during your period, just no cold drinks, no raw food also, okay? Yes, Shan Yao is basically the same as Huai Shan. Stiffness in joint, what herb to take? So when you have stiffness in joints, I think this needs medical attention. You cannot just try to self-medicate. I would recommend you go to a registered physician to get a proper diagnosis and to get maybe acupuncture can also help. In general, keep your joints warm. Try to avoid cold direct wind. Okay. And what to drink for difficulty in passing motion? So, when you have constipation, this could also be because of various reasons. So I can't give you a one recipe fit all kind of answer, but maybe in general, always make sure you have enough fiber in your diet, okay? Try to avoid spicy or fried food, oily food, salty food, okay? And if it's a long-term problem, you always have problems with your bowel movement, you have constipation long term, then I think you might want to go see a physician to get a proper diagnosis to help to recalibrate your body. Okay? Because constipation might cause more toxins to build up in your body, and that's not good. How many pieces of dates can one eat a day? That will also depend on your body type, okay? Some people can eat more because they are more yang deficient, their spleen is more weak, they can afford to eat it more. But if you're more heaty, then you cannot eat as much as them. So I would recommend you eat less. Start with smaller amounts and then you slowly add on and see how much your body can take. But in general, don't take anything in excess, even though it's beneficial, okay? Everything should be taken in moderation. Okay, this is our last question of the day. So question 6 is, what drink for detox? So just now, the recipe that I shared, the hawthorns, the celery and apple juice, I think that's great for detoxing because apples, celery, they all can help to, detoxify your body. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Help to detoxify your body, get rid of the toxins in your digestive tract so that it reduces the load on your liver. So you can take apple juice, add a celery, you can add hawthorn also, it helps. Hawthorn, goji berries, these can all help to detox. Or if you want a very simple and direct way, you can take green tea, but not too much, maybe 2 cups and hot green tea. Okay, so thank you for spending your afternoon with me. We have come to the end of the sharing. If you enjoyed this talk, you can like and share the video with your family and friends, or you can check back on the recipes, okay? And to learn more about TCM facts, you can also like the NTU Chinese Medicine Clinic Facebook page or check out our website. So our Facebook page, we do have regular updates with general public education facts. And sometimes we have free talks to the public also, and then you can sign up. And you can always call this number or visit the website to learn more about the talks planned for you. Yeah, and you can like the Facebook page, the C3A Facebook page, so that you can get notified of new talks in the future. Okay, thank you. I hope you all have benefited from this talk. And thank you for spending an afternoon with me. Stay happy, stay healthy. Thank you.